just happened? Okay, we're recording. Oh my God, that happened to me during one of my favorite Zooms that we did on here, and like half of it didn't get recorded. So, but the energy we put out there day to day, I cannot tell you guys. I feel like I say this a lot is we all sync up, like it's like our period sync or something. But typically the stuff that I hear from you guys each week is like similar. It's so bizarre. Like one week it'll be relationship stuff. One week it'll be sex drive stuff. Like it comes in like clusters. It's kind of cool. I don't know why that is, but whatever. But this week I heard this phrase so many times. I feel like I take 2 steps forward, 10 steps back. I heard that, like I want to say maybe from 10 different clients this week. And it was just this week. I don't know. But I figured that's a good topic for us to work on because, you know, a lot of you guys, some of you guys don't even really buy into the whole law of attraction thing yet. And that's okay. I was a skeptic. I talk about this all the time. I didn't buy into it either at first. But if there's one thing I could convey to you is that if you feel silly with affirmations, if there is one thing you focus on, it would be the back dialogue. The way we phrase things in our just day-to-day affects our psyche. So if you don't want to take this in the direction of law of attraction, that's totally fine. But take it in the direction of what we feel, what we feed our brain, what we exert, the mantra in which we go into situations with. It's not going to make us any less responsible. It's not going to change our actions or our behaviors. But having an inner dialogue where it gets us through that in a different way, rather than beating ourselves up, even if you've gotten better at it, you know, just the slight digs at ourselves or putting ourselves down or being disappointed in ourselves, all of that, we throw that out the window. We have a whole lot more room for enjoying our day-to-day and enjoying the people that are around us. So 10 steps forward, 2 steps forward, 10 steps back is what I heard throughout the week. And I mean, I get it. We get frustrated. We really are hard on ourselves because we want to do well. But I use this example with a bunch of those clients who mentioned that. And I said, this is going to be a question that some of you are going to be like, but why worry about money? I think I did this on a Zoom recently, or I just repeated this so many times this week that's why it feels this way. But tell me in the chat, okay? This sounds like a dumb question, but there's a point. Why worry about money? I will wait. Water bottle. My water bottle. Okay, hang on. I'm getting my water bottle. But tell me in the chat, why should anybody worry about money? Babe, would you mind filling this up for me? He's a peach.
Am I muted?
Nope. I'm going to mute you guys.
Sorry.
It's okay. I worry about money because I have to ensure my basic needs are met. Yeah, because money is what makes the world go round. Okay. We have to pay the bills to survive. Yep. So these are great answers of why we should care about money. We should really, really care about money for sure. But why should we worry about money? It's a lot harder of a question to answer, right? And that's because worrying doesn't do shit. Worrying doesn't make up. Are you all right? Oh, sorry. Worrying doesn't make the situation better. Worrying doesn't pay the bills. Worrying doesn't get the debt collectors off your ass or get you the new thing you've been dying to get. Like, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't make us clearer or sharper or more driven to fix our problems. If anything, it piles on negative emotions on top of the task at hand, which is getting your shit covered. You know, if anything, it makes it harder because stress, as we know, affects hormones, affects inflammation. Now, it's not human to say that we'll never get stressed in our life. I would hope that, you know, we react to something important with a stress response. It's about how we process that. Because worrying, it seems like it's impossible not to do. But it's really an extra thing. Like, we don't have to worry to be able to solve a problem. We just have to care to solve that problem. We just have to care about finding the solution. I look a little bit like Cindy Lou Who right now, and I'm not exactly hating it. I like the way this is just, sorry, distracted. But do you guys get my point? So now when it comes to anything in life, can't we apply this very same thing? Can't we say, you know, I should really care about that, but why should I worry about that? And you're like, but what do I do besides worry about it? And the only thing you can do is ask yourself questions and try to figure it out, right? We went over that in in a Zoom recently, I believe, where it's, you know, you sign a time to figure it out. You don't just think you have to figure it all out in that moment. But what else can we do? Again, whether you believe in law of attraction, I'm going to talk to the ones that do believe in law of attraction, because the ones that have drank the Kool-Aid like me. But law of attraction, if you do affirmations every day, but you got stank attitude behind those affirmations on the back end, and you're telling yourself all these negative things all day, or worrying excessively, all that, you're wasting your time doing affirmations, because they'll never beat out the energy that we put forward every single day. Affirmations will never beat out the way we talk about ourselves, our future, more importantly, because even if you don't like yourself yet, talking about your future in a worrisome or negative light, I mean, that's not, if you believe in law of attraction, that's not going to bring anything but that your way. So many people wait until things are smooth and nothing is really going on to think about law of attraction. But when do you need law of attraction the most? When shit's going down. It's, you know, when everything is like on fire and everything's going wrong. That's when we need law of attraction. Like, that's when we should be feeling the things that we affirm and visualizing and all that. Why is it so hard? Human nature. The same reason it's hard for a lot of people to buy into law of attraction is because that doubt is there, where it's like we cannot fathom that something out of our control could happen for the better. We only think of things out of our control happening for the worst. So if you're sitting here buying into law of attraction, which, by the way, does not mean, well, I affirmed it, I'm going to sit on my ass and be positive and let's see what happens. I'm going to win me a lottery tomorrow. Like, that doesn't happen. You know, that anybody who tells you that will happen, I don't even know what to do with that. But law of attraction is, whether you believe in it or not, is the concept that whatever you want is attainable. You have to trust the process of that happening. You might get turned away from something you're really excited about because it looks promising, in order to be put into place for the thing you really want to happen. You know, that's probably happened to you guys throughout your life. One thing fell apart, you were devastated about it, but it actually led somewhere a lot better. This happens in relationships, in jobs, in schools, in everything, right? Law of attraction is the belief that what I want, I'll get. It's just a matter of how, what needs to happen to fall into place like that, right? So if we're sitting there with our stank attitude, because it's not happening on our timetable, and it's not happening because it happened for someone else, and it's not happening for me because I just am stuck and my life is cursed and all these things, look at what you're attracting. Affirmations don't do anything about that. That worry, does that fix any of the things that I just said? Absolutely not. It just makes you feel like crap. Law of attraction, you know, you decide on something you want and you have these affirmations. When you buy into the concept of law of attraction, you actually start working towards those things like you would regardless, but instead you have a different mentality about you, you have a different air about you. You approach each task with a different kind of like passion, and it changes you. It helps you get through the things you would have to get through anyway, without being down in the dumps, beating yourself up, telling yourself, 2 steps forward, 10 steps back, all that stuff. All of that goes against our affirmations. All of that goes against the mindset changes that we're trying to make. If you don't believe in law of attraction, it makes you feel bitter. It makes you feel impatient, makes you feel resentful and, you know, doubtful that you'll get anything good. None of these are good feeling things. So if you have a situation, as I say, a situation at hand, what does feeling crappy as you have to figure it out regardless going to do for you? It's just going to be a really bad time. That's all. You have no more likelihood of getting out of that situation any better than you went into it. So the energy that we put out there, when you are, you might be saying, well, I'm not going to fake not being upset when I'm upset. That's not what I mean. I'm not saying to become delusional. What I'm saying is when you get upset or you're stressed or you're worried or insert emotion here, taking that time to ask yourself questions about why you're upset, then taking the time to ask yourself, what can I do to fix this? Or what can I do to make this a little bit better? If the answer is nothing, I'm going to refer you back to my Armageddon example. And I'm just going to repeat it because it's one of my favorites. But have you guys seen Armageddon? If you haven't, watch it. It's your classic, I don't know, late 90s. Was it late 90s? Just cheesy romance movie. But the premise is this big ass meteor is headed for Earth, right? It's going to hit the Earth. We're all going to die. But like we might not, because Ben Affleck and Bruce Willis might go up there and blow it up. We don't know. All we know is we got to wait for 12 hours. That's the deadline. They're going to head on up. They're going to go try and nuke this thing out in space. Who knows what might happen? Liv Tyler might be sad. Ben Affleck might be the only one that comes back. I don't know. So anyway, all we can do is just chill out here for 12 hours. That's it. It's out of our hands. There is not a damn thing. No one, everyone's helpless. So I want to say 99% of the people would be glued to the TV screen, watching every update, looking for any sign of how things are going because we need to know, right? When ultimately you will know in 12 hours and 1 minute, you will know if you are not here or you are here, if they were successful or not. So why would you spend those 12 hours stalking out your TV and not doing things you want to do? Talking to the people. I mean, besides the fact that it will probably be closed. Like I can't imagine, I was talking about this with one of my clients. I can't imagine Disneyland would be open, when we're possibly going to experience the end of the world. But why wouldn't you spend those 12 hours at least doing something that brings you some kind of joy if it's your last 12 hours, possibly? Why not tell everybody that you care about just how much you care about them? All that cheesy stuff. Why would you be glued to the TV? And that is human nature in a nutshell. We're afraid to make moves because we're afraid of what's on the other side of that move. We're afraid for updates, but we need updates, but we want to control a situation that we can't even control. So instead of doing that, we're going to worry about it until it figures itself out. Take a deep breath. That doesn't need to happen. Doesn't mean your shit will not get solved. It just doesn't mean anything. What are your guys' thoughts so far? How is this hitting home for you? Give me some feedback in the chat. So now how this manifests itself is when we make these observations. I hear this all the time, right? We get these observations where we're like, I really realize that I just suck at time management and I really just have to get my schedule down. Oh my God, this is going to suck so bad. I have so much to do, blah, blah, blah. Oh my God, I'm so upset because of X, Y, and Z. We don't need to keep reconfirming the things that upset us. And we don't need to continue putting ourselves down. I don't know why I can't get better at that. I just suck at time management. I don't know why I can't get to bed earlier. I don't know. There's something wrong with me. I've messed up at this. We're just so hard on ourselves. Why? Did you like getting called down to the principal's office as a kid? No. Sitting in the front office, your legs are dangling, you're just waiting to get called in. You don't even know what the hell you did this time. I don't know. You guys are probably good kids, but this is at least what I went through. Just a few times. So, you're sitting there, you're waiting and you're dreading it. And you're like, oh shit, what's wrong? What did I do this time? Are they going to call my parents? I'm so screwed right now. Why do we do that to ourselves? Why are we the principals to ourselves? Why do we have to reprimand ourselves? Has it ever in the history of reprimanding yourself fixed the problem where all of a sudden it's not part of your personality to do these things again? You ate a bag of candy last week, right? What is the point of being the principal on yourself? Has it ever stopped you from not doing that again in the past? So what's the point? It's not that if you're not mean to yourself, all of a sudden you're going to be out binging every single day. It just means that, you know what, if you have a bag of candy, you're like, oh, well, shit, I had a bag of candy. I'm not going to do that again for a while. You keep it moving. But why do we then take the next day or two to beat the crap out of ourselves for something? Does it fix what happened? Does it make us any better human beings for the people around us? Does it fix any of the problems in our lives at all? It does nothing. It just continues to make you feel like shit, when ultimately you should just take a lesson from every setback and keep it moving. That's what law of attraction helps people do, is when you have the idea that even the hard parts are part of the good thing you really want. It's really hard to get down on yourself a lot. It's really hard to get down on situations that happen a lot. And it's not delusional, because what is the point of being down on yourself? I think it's rather delusional to be down on yourself as if you're the disciplinarian of your own mind all the time. That's like a prison. Like, don't be an asshole to yourself. You know, you got to live with that. You got to live with that asshole. Be nice to yourself. So I want some feedback in that chat. I was going to say ladies and gents, but I think it's ladies and ladies. My point to today was to just, I can't possibly teach you in one of these Zooms. I can't teach you guys every way around everything that's mean that we say to ourselves. I can't give you the different way to phrase things that you normally say, because the amount of negativity I hear, not just you guys, you guys are all getting better and at different stages of your programs, but just in general, the amount of times, and people don't even realize how mean they are to themselves constantly. And whether you feel bad after you're that mean, or you're just used to being that mean to yourself, it doesn't mean it doesn't, I said mean so many times. It doesn't mean it doesn't wear on you. You carry that mantra with you. When you start saying to yourself like, well, I'm going to try my best and I'm human, so I'm going to really try my best. And if I slip up, I'll just keep it going and I'll do better after that. That will yield better results than slipping up and then being like, oh God, I suck. Why did I do this? I don't know why I'm this way. That's useless. And it ends up creating an awful evening or an awful day when it didn't need to be the case. Either way, you ate the bag of candy, or either way, you didn't stand up for yourself in a confrontation with someone you swore you were going to, or, either way, you didn't get that promotion you wanted. You didn't get called back for an interview. Your husband was an asshole to you, either way, all of that stuff is still going to exist. So why are we beating the shit out of ourselves on top of it? And then being like, law of attraction can't possibly work. I don't know why. Like, that's just not possible. Well, maybe if you tried it. Because that was how I felt. I felt before that. You guys have seen my videos on this. But before that, I was so anti, because I thought it was the most loopy, hippie out there thing. And I'm pretty like ethereal, spiritual. I'm not opposed to the natural side of things by a long shot. But law of attraction was hard for me to get behind, really. I was that one with the biting humor, that was like the sarcastic, dry humor. I was like, I don't want this to change my personality. I don't want to go from being like this biting, feisty, witty thing. I don't know about what the hell's biting. I don't know what I say, but I don't want to go from being that guy to being this like love and peace, kumbaya. Like, that's what I thought was what people wanted me to be with law of attraction. And then I was like, you know what, maybe if I just wasn't such a negative asshole to myself every day, some good things would happen. And then it did. And then I was like, okay, so this has helped my life a little. Maybe there's something here. And then I got into the affirmations, and wouldn't you know it, every time I refocus on my affirmations, they happen. Maybe not to a T, like, are we millionaires with our babies yet? Like, no. But at the end of the day, what I want, I started seeing steps, and I started seeing just opportunities presenting themselves that wouldn't have existed beforehand. And that to me was enough of a coinky dink for me to be like, you know what? I'm a happier person. I'm having more opportunities to do better. My life is actually better since I've been believing this way. So whether it's working or not, whether it's a coincidence or not, this is what I'm rocking with, because it makes me feel a whole lot better than how I felt before. And I am getting more opportunities than I was before. So what do I have to lose? And here we are talking now. It's just, I think the energy aspect of it is, if there's one thing I have you guys take away on whatever part of the spectrum of belief, law of attraction that you are, it's that the energy in which you go into every situation impacts that situation, good or bad. So if you go into that situation beating yourself up and telling yourself you're dumb and you're not good enough, the chances of you struggling through it, just waiting for the other shoe to drop for you to screw up, the chances of that happening are a lot higher than if you go into something with confidence and you go into it clear-headed, where you can say, let's problem solve. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Let's see. So, okay, let me check the chat. I've been getting so much better at not worrying and stressing about things like that. Yes, you have, girl. I see it too. I always put so much pressure on myself, but I've been improving on that. You sure have. You sure have. And you know what? I knew a bunch of people who, when I used to work with It Works, one of my distributors back then, she would get so upset at herself if she ever had to Google anything, that she was so upset that she didn't just know it. And I encounter that a lot in different degrees, where people are like, oh, I should know that. I should be better than that. Oh, you've said that already. I should remember that. That 2 minutes that you took there to beat yourself up, it doesn't need to happen. I still think that you're awesome. People who care about you in your life shouldn't be off put because you don't just know something, it's okay. Would you rather be mad at yourself for not getting it right away, or spend that time figuring out the answer and then knowing the answer? So just, something to keep in mind. I love hearing feedback from you guys, as you all know. So I want to hear about your thoughts on this, specifically about how you felt before this call versus after. Because my hope is always to have that light bulb moment for at least one of you guys on each of these calls. So my hope is that you took that away and you had that light bulb moment, or at least it gave you a little kick in the ass to feel a little bit better than you did when you hopped on here. Oh, we have more. I'm trying to get better at recognizing that all I can really change is how I react to situations / prep. So to come up with strategies to prepare myself best for situations. I don't do well with surprises. Yeah, I hear you. I mean, I have OCD, so it's like I hear you. I try to almost instinctively just plan things, to know things, and I don't like when I feel like I am not in the know, or when I have to clean up a mess after the fact. But the only thing, and this is what I just tell myself as I close my eyes, grit my teeth, and have to take a deep breath so I don't throw chairs at people, is that all we can plan for is uncertainty. That's it. You can't plan for how things will go, but you can plan how to respond to uncertain situations. You can plan how you would handle a surprise being thrown your way, or how you would handle something not panning out the way you had hoped. That stuff you can plan ahead of time. You can have a little pep talk with yourself and say, okay, so I'm going to hope for this situation, but in case this happens, I'm going to be all right. I'm going to handle it, and I'm going to move on. I'm going to problem solve. Pep talking myself is how I still get through every day. It becomes almost instinctive, but at first I had to work at it. I had to remind myself to pep talk myself. It was like, okay, you're getting worked up. Let's bring it back. Let's think about this. Now it just is how I click in. But it was probably about I want to say maybe 2 years of having to remind myself to get out of that headset that I would fall into all the time, because we're human. This ponytail is annoying the crap out of me now. It's a little bit of I Love Jeannie vibe. So I feel like diet culture makes people think that, oh, wait, hold on. Sorry, I had to be here for my mom. Her first steroid epidurals tomorrow. She's super nervous. Oh, well, welcome. I feel like diet culture makes people think they have to suffer and put themselves down to eventually love themselves. It's such horseshit, such a paradox. And it's hard to really break those subconscious ties after years of being immersed in it. And the fact that it still exists. I had to, it's so stupid. This is recent too. I had to unfollow the Kardashians. I had to unfollow any of the pages of injectables or plastic surgery, plastic surgeons that I'd followed over the years, because when I started getting onto Instagram a lot more, and I started targeting Instagram more than I was just doing Facebook, I was all of a sudden inundated with all of these images of the same friggin' look. the same proportions, the same face, the same everything. And it just started making me feel like, am I the outlier? Why can't I just look like a fraction of these girls? Like, and I was like, wait a second, who are you, girl? You're better than this. And I just unfollowed a whole lot of them. Help my ratio out on Instagram anyway. So yeah, no, I definitely feel you. It's really hard. It's really hard. And I still sometimes have to remind myself, if I have, some candy or something, being like, okay, so tomorrow, no carbs. And then I'm like, wait, again, who are you? So it's never going to be, when you're faced with this diet culture and just these images of what's quote unquote perfect, it just kind of brainwashes us. We're surrounded by the standard. So it's really hard, and it requires, to just continue reminding yourself who the hell you are and what you believe in. And it's not that, hopefully. So I have a huge problem with change. Worst is last minute change. Yeah, I'm aware more now and do my best to breathe through it and recognize the situation for what it is and why. Yeah, change is really, really hard. But the way I get through my fear of change, for me as a person with OCD, also hates change. I need plans. Like I freak out at Nick if he doesn't give me an estimated time of arrival. Even if he doesn't know one, I'm like, make one up, please. Like, I need to know it. I hate change. The thing you can tell yourself is that change, why am I afraid of change? Am I afraid of this change going badly? Am I afraid of myself not being adequate and, dropping the ball? Am I afraid of getting hurt? Am I afraid of hurting others? Pinpoint and narrow down why you're afraid of that change, and then talk yourself out of being afraid of that change, just like you talk yourself into why you should be afraid of that change. It is not foolproof where as soon as you're like, oh, what an easy solution. It's going to take more than that, but at least it'll help you start realizing, because as you start framing that change is not scary, and then a change happens and it's not scary, like what you were afraid of doesn't happen, or it goes better than you thought, the more we start to get comfortable with the concept. Even if we're always like, I'm always still a little bit nervous when things are changed up. I just like having that, do this, and this, because yeah, I feel you. All right. So I think this was great. I hope that you guys got a lot of value out of this as well. I hope it cleared up some of the misconceptions about law of attraction and how I promote it, in terms of it's not a fix-all. It's just a kind of keep mantras for yourself and stop being a douche to yourself, and I would love to hear what you guys thought. So I will post this recording, and I realized last week's never posted, so I will post both. And I would love to get your feedback on it, as per usual, whether it's on the page or texting me. Enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you guys for tuning in, and let me know if you need anything. Okay, bye.